Trump fires all of his motorcade van drivers after Secret Service makes shocking discovery by Dan Lindsay, Politics US News for MadWorldNews.com. President Donald Trump said, "You're fired," to every single press van driver in his motorcade after the Secret Service recently made a shocking discovery. This isn't good. The Secret Service has just replaced each and every press van driver in President Donald Trump's motorcade after making a shocking discovery that shows exactly how easy it can be for an outsider to get close to the president and pose a threat. According to the Gateway pundit, Trump's security detail was quick to replace all of the press van drivers in his motorcade on Monday, February 19, 2018, after a routine check resulted in the discovery of a gun in one driver's bag. The firearm was discovered outside Mar-a-Lago by Secret Service agents who reportedly detained the driver. Thankfully, the incident took place prior to the president joining the motorcade. In my opinion, allowing a van driver to get that close to the president with a gun is inexcusable, according to Reuters. The press van drivers are usually volunteers and not members of the Secret Service or media. In this case, the driver with the gun was a hired contractor. With that in mind, you would think that these people would be checked for firearms prior to being let behind the wheel of a press van, which would eventually be joining the president's motorcade. Reporter Jordan Fabian of The Hill reported on the incident as it unfolded on Monday morning. Fabian sent out a tweet on Twitter with a statement about the driver of one of the press pool vans during security screening for what he said was a personal firearm found in his baggage. Driver said he forgot to leave the firearm inside his personal vehicle before entering van, the statement began. Screaming took place off club grounds in parking lot across the street in roughly an hour before press vans joined up with presidential motorcade. The statement on the incident continued. Driver was not allowed onto curb property, so a White House staffer drove the van instead. White House staff said all drivers were replaced after the incident. When press loaded back into vans, driver was being questioned by an officer. It concluded with on club grounds, another van grazed a Secret Service vehicle in the parking lot. Damage to vehicle appeared to be very minor and no one was hurt. Driver of one of the press pool vans was detained during security screening for what he said was a personal firearm found in his baggage. Driver said he forgot to leave the firearm inside his personal vehicle before entering van. Screening took place off club grounds in parking lot across the street in roughly an hour before press vans joined up with presidential motorcade. Driver was not allowed onto curb property, so White House staffer drove the van instead. White House staffer said all drivers were replaced after the incident. When press loaded back into vans, driver was being questioned by an officer. When on club grounds, another van grazed a Secret Service vehicle in the parking lot. No damage to the vehicle, but who was the person and why was he in a rush to get out that he grazed the vehicle? This is from Jordan. The White House press pool had an eventful morning. Later on Monday, Fabian issued an update to his report on Twitter with a statement from the Secret Service regarding the incident. Secret Service statement regarding events in Palm Beach, Florida, February 19, 2018. The Secret Service can confirm that an individual serving as staff contractor was briefly detained by U.S. Secret Service personnel and other law enforcement officials. Today, the individual was found to be in lawful possession of a prohibited item outside the secure area at a Secret Service security screening checkpoint. The incident was investigated by the Secret Service and our partners at the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and resolved. At no time was any Secret Service protectee in danger or impacted. All Secret Service security measures worked. Well, that's not too, I don't know. I'm just, like stunned at all of this. So it appears that the driver was lawfully permitted to carry the firearm, but forgot one important detail. Don't bring a firearm with you if you're volunteering to drive a press van in the presidential motorcade. Needless to say, it looks suspicious, you think? The Secret Service has not demonstrated a great deal of efficiency this past year, so it's good to see them actually doing their jobs, according to a previous report from the Independent Journal Review. Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino has already warned America that Trump isn't safe in the hands of Secret Service leadership after a man successfully jumped the White House fence on March 11, 2017 and remained on the grounds for 20 minutes before being apprehended. Yeah, okay. This is serious. Former Secret Service is not safe in the White House. This was back in March.
Okay, and let's bring in Dan Bongino, a former NYPD officer and former Secret Service agent on this to talk about what's happened at the White House. Welcome to you. You're joining us on the phone. Thanks for being with us on this very important Saturday afternoon here on the East. So let me just get your overall thoughts. What do you think about what happened?
Okay, so first let's scrap this nonsense that this is how the system was supposed to work. It defies credulity to believe that the system is supposed to allow a man with a backpack up to the South Portico, 100 yards, maybe just a tad bit more from the President of the United States. That's an absurd statement. And I'll tell you, I love the Secret Service. I love the men and women there. The rank and file agents are the best people I've ever met. But the management is an absolute disaster. To put out a statement like that is outrageous. The president, in my humble opinion, is just not safe at the White House anymore, because they're not serious about the security plan. They're serious about how the White House looks and uniform division, but they're just not serious about the security plan at the White House anymore.
And Dan, when we talk about, you keep hearing about the layers of security, right? And this was only the first layer, getting over the fence. And you make a good point. There shouldn't be a breach of the first layer at all. We shouldn't be talking about this, but yet it has happened. In your expertise, in your experience, what do you think should be changed? Where do you even start?
Here's the problem. Here's the choke point in this. The Secret Service knows what has to be done. You can put double fencing. You can angle the fencing outward so it's nearly impossible to scale. You can put more personnel and special weapons teams on the South Lawn. But the choke point is there are interests in the White House, staff interests, maybe not from this administration, but certainly from prior administrations, that have stopped that because, oh, it doesn't look good. We don't want to make it look like an armed camp, which is ridiculous. Everybody knows there's security at the White House. There are other interests that say, well, the history of the White House, we don't want to disturb the look of it. You know, folks, this is a serious time. I mean, we have terror groups. If you think the Secret Service right now, under the current security plan, is prepared for a multiple-man tactical assault on the White House, you're out of your mind. And sadly, that's not putting an idea in anybody's head. That idea is already in people's head. They're just not ready. This is not how the plan is supposed to work, and it's frustrating, having been in the Secret Service for a long time and knowing how capable the rank and file men and women are. If you would let their ideas take hold.
It's a pretty serious charge to say the Secret Service does not take White House security seriously. In that sense, if it's so bad as you say it is, why hasn't the director, who has a responsibility and an oath, why hasn't he testified before Congress to the points you're making? I think it's important at times like this to sort of have a sense of how we're looking at this in a little bit of a calm way. The fact that somebody made it over the fence, concerning, but it sounds like they were apprehended. It sounds like this was not a multi-man assault, which surely would have brought a very different response from the Secret Service.
Yeah, Leland, this is the soberest analysis you're going to get. I was there. There are people who know that they are not prepared. You know, think about what you just said. You said, well, it wasn't a multi-man tactical assault on the White House. But one guy made it all the way up to the South Portico, and this is the second time we're having this conversation in what, 3-4 years? When did the last event happen? Probably less than that. How much more sober an analysis can you get? They're just not ready, and they're not serious about it because they know the ramifications of what would happen if there were multiple people with heavy weapons jumping that fence. They know it. That means they're not being serious about it.
An alarm bell from you, not one we've heard from the Secret Service Director or the DHS Secretary, but we appreciate your insights, Dan. Good to be with you. Thank you for joining us.
He's right. Even though the Secret Service released a statement saying that this recent incident on Monday didn't pose a threat to any of their protectees, it's still a strong indicator that they don't completely have it together. You think? You think? And they said also that when they carry firearms, they're licensed to carry firearms, you're supposed to know where your gun is at all times. So right then and there, his gun license should be revoked because he didn't remember that he put it in his bag, right? Which that's a crock all in itself. That's what I say. It's just to see how far they can get. They're testing the waters. No, he needs to hire his own security. And again, it's a laughingstock that this is continuously happening. Exactly what Dan Bongino said. Yeah, if there were multiple people, yeah, what, an incident has to happen in order to take action? The action has to be taken before something happens. Absolutely. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.